with commentary, sure, why not? I'm not quite liking that smoothed out font.
So, did we already introduce ourselves? Should we do it again for real? Who's gonna start? Peter.
Hi, I'm Peter Chan, and I'm the lead artist.
You drew that painting right there, right?
Yes, I did, yes.
Okay.
I'm Larry Ahern, lead animator.
You killed that bird.
So I was
think
talking to
that was
somebody
a
the other day
legal
that
scene. She's the animal killer.
I do wish this kind of commentary was more common in games.
I'm Tim Schafer, co-project leader of this lovely game.
And I am Dave Grossman, other project leader and designer and writer along with Tim.
It does make my commentary kind of
Should have
redundant,
been our
though.
titles, co and other.
Co and other, yeah.
Clint Bajakian, one of the composers.
Peter McConnell, one of the composers.
Nice. The game has begun, you guys. Okay, so we saw the lovely. What was the name of that classical music that plays during the opening voice?
Rossini, William Tell Overture.
But yeah, other than this, like the only time I've ever seen
There's two classical pieces that need mourning in cartoons.
a.
Yes, there's that one, and then there's. And the
I did
other
not
one
think this
is
through.
That's from. Where is that from?
I don't remember.
It might be Peer Gynt or something.
I was expecting less dense
It's not
commentary.
another place in the Rossini, is it?
No, I think it's Peer Gynt. I think.
But for that opening scene with the music, we actually got the score and
Yeah.
sequenced the ink into the MIDI sequencer.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the big panning sequences, like wide pieces of art for the game.
Oh, the room shot?
So,
It was a double room.
Okay. Especially without the commentary, because that is a bit much. But I do appreciate it being there. Like, I was talking to somebody the other day how I wish it was more common. I remember when the Orange Box came out, those all had, like, commentary nodes scattered throughout the game where you could just kind of get some insight into what they were thinking with the design. And it's like, it's a neat feature. It's pretty easy to do in a game, especially if you're already having, like, audio logs. Or voice acting. Or even just, like, text boxes that are not too obtrusive.
I'm thirsty.
I don't think you should drink that.
So I will on my own time, like, go through that whole commentary on, because it is interesting to
Nonsense. It makes me feel great.
get that sort of
Smarter.
feedback.
More aggressive. I feel like I could. Like I could. Like I could. Take on the world.
Anyway, since I'm doing my own commentary now, this is Day of the Tentacle.
Look, Hoagie, it's a hamster.
It is
Just
a
what I
direct
need for
sequel to Maniac
dissection lab
Mansion.
tomorrow.
I think I need that for the band, Laverne. You know, like we could bite its head off or whatever.
Hands off that hamster.
Friend of yours, Bernard?
He belongs to Weird Ed Edison, and it looks like he's brought us a note.
And Maniac Mansion is, of course, like the first LucasArts adventure game, I think.
It's from my old friend, Green Tentacle. He says that purple tentacles mutated into an insane genius, and Dr. Fred's going to kill them both.
Yeah, Bernard here is one of the characters in Maniac Mansion out of, like, 6, from which you pick
I thought I
3.
was free of Dr. Fred and those
And each of the
crazy
6 has
Edisons
some,
forever.
like, unique personal skill.
But now,
And every
I know
combination
that I
of
must
3
go
out of those 6 is a viable way to finish the
to the
game, which is,
mansion.
like, an interesting design challenge. But also it was a little bit on the mean side. Like, it's very easy to, like, get yourself stuck by, like, feeding all your food to one of the tentacles or various other things. Day of the Tentacle here came out a few years later, and, like, has a lot of polish to it here, as you can see. Although I have to say, I'm not liking the visual style as much as the original release, with its interlaced graphics and its, like, MIDI sound. and it's font that isn't giving me these annoying right angles. Or not 45-degree angles, I should say. But yeah. So as far as I recall, this is like the first LucasArts adventure game that feels like what I would call a LucasArts adventure game, in that you cannot screw yourself over, which was kind of like the prevailing trend for other adventure games at the time. Here, like, you know, you can try something that doesn't work, and it's like, okay, it didn't work, and then you keep all your items and all that. There's also an interesting little hint system, which I'm going to at least try to play this long enough to show off a little bit. Because I just like the vibe of it. And the other interesting thing about the Tentacle is we got these 3 characters, one of whom was in Maniac Mansion. The other 2 are new. And you can switch freely between the 3 of them basically any time. Which becomes more relevant when you see the main gimmick of the game. This intro itself, in particular, seems like it loses a lot of charm from the original release.
Okay, we'll spread out commando style. Laverne, you go secure the area behind those double doors. Hoagie, you take care of upstairs reconnaissance. I'll maintain Command HQ here, in the lobby.
What are we looking for?
We've got to find where Dr. Fred is holding the tentacles.
This better not take too long. I've got an anatomy final tomorrow.
And I've got a show to set up later tonight. If I'm late, I don't get to test the drums.
If I know Dr. Fred, he's got the tentacles tied up in his secret lab. Question is, where's his secret lab?
Oh yeah, this isn't. This release doesn't have the big list of verbs at the bottom. It apparently just puts those in the second mouse button. That's interesting. And you can also toggle that commentary on and off. That's nice. There are hotkeys for character switching. There's controller support, which... Whoa. Switch render mode. Switch render mode. There we go. That's the stuff. So, okay, I do love when remakes of games let you do this sort of thing. Especially this freely. And, like, yeah, I don't know, the art in the low-res version just has more charm to it, I feel. There's a problem that a lot of, like, upscale things do, where it's like... There's if you look at it, there's, like, no shading, or very little shading in the original Day of the Tentacle. And then the remake, you know, it's still very flat, but, like, they don't fill in all this space with more detail, so it just looks weird and awkward. Yeah, this is the traditional set of verbs down here. Whereas here, we're doing it this way.
It's stuck to the floor.
I'm curious, too. Is that still an option?
Spearmint. Spearmint. My
Oh, no.
favorite.
If you go to this view, then it has the traditional control scheme. That's interesting.
That one looks like it's from a local hardware store. A horticultural horror. Help wanted. Lab assistant. Hardworking moronic drone needed to assist genius with experiments. High school diploma not required.
It's interesting, too, that, like,
How did that get up there?
So this was originally, like, a LucasArts thing. The remake here is from Telltale. Telltale is one of 2 companies that... Sorry, this is from Double Fine. Double Fine and Telltale are the 2 companies that, like, spun out of LucasArts when it stopped being a thing. Double Fine keeps a lot of the attitude of games like this, I find. And, mixes it up a lot gameplay wise. Like they did Psychonauts, they did Brutal Legend, they did Costume Quest, which we saw last week. Although this is my least favorite puzzle in the game, if I recall. No. Okay, there's one room where you have to close a door behind you to find a thing. Otherwise, it's undetectable.
Gee, Dr. Fred doesn't have a penny. Wow, it's from my favorite movie.
But, yeah, so Telltale just went all in, sticking with the adventure games.
It's a bottle of correctional fluid.
Made a big point of simplifying the UI to not have all of this. And just, you know, from context, when you click on a thing, it's kind of obvious you're going to do.
Boy, the Edisons are a spectacularly ugly family. Looks like Dr. Fred wearing a powdered wig. Handsome
So it's
in a way,
interesting that, like, this...
but I'm glad he eventually accepted his hair loss.
This remake was eventually done by Double Fine instead. But, yeah.
There's something funny about that clock. Aha! A secret passage. This is all too easy.
Yeah, just less charm that way, I'm sorry.
Laverne, how'd you get upstairs?
Am I upstairs? I got lost.
Seen any tentacles?
What's a tentacle?
Oh, just something I whipped up in my spare time.
I'm just talking back and forth just for
actually, until
comparison's
one of them
sake.
tried to take over the world and to tie the little buggers up in the basement.
Good thing you told us that.
Yeah, Bernard wanted us to set them free.
Thank God you weren't that stupid. Did you say Bernard?
Okay, you're free to go.
Thanks, Bernard.
Yes, thank you, naive human. Now I can finish taking over the world.
Wait!
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. He's incredibly evil, isn't he?
I'll try to talk him out of it.
Well, what possible harm could one insane mutant tentacle do?
Leaping lab rats!
Dr. Fred.
What have you done this time, you meddling milk toast? Now Purple Tentacle is free to use his evil mutant powers to take over the world and enslave all humanity!
Whoops.
Our only hope now is to turn off my sludge-o-magic machine and prevent the toxic mutagen from entering the river!
Isn't it a little late for that, Doctor?
Of course! That's why I'll have to do it yesterday! Through the time machine!
It's also jarring not having the, like, text version
This
of the
is all your fault, Bernard.
dialogue here. Because, like,
Behold, children, the Chronogen!
Doc, can't you just send Bernard?
this is one of those
No,
games
you
that
must
was
all
old enough
go
to
increase the odds that
have had
one of you will
the
make it
CD
there
release
alive.
Have any people ever been hurt
with his
in this
voice
thing?
acting.
Of
But then
course
also
not.
the floppy disk
It's the
release,
first
where there
time
wasn't
I've ever
any.
tried it on people.
The sound's better in the old version too.
Well, I'll be.
Bernard, float over here so I can punch you.
This must be that Woodstock place Mom and Dad are
Yeah.
always talking about.
I appreciate this being released on Steam and such, but like,
What could it all mean?
I don't
play it low res, it's
I
better.
don't want to know.
Die. Die.
We may not live to see yesterday.
I'm sure Dr. Fred wouldn't have done this if it weren't safe.
After all, he is a doctor.
It works! I can't believe it! And they said imitation diamond wasn't good enough. Uh-oh.
There's more to the background with the up-res graphics as well.
Cheap mail order.
Yeah, the reader music is just so like dull.
I knew I should have bought a real diamond.
Are they alive?
My dials say that the larger specimen landed 200 years in the past, and the other is stuck 200 years in the future.
Well, hurry up and bring them back.
I will, as soon as I get a new diamond. Then all your buddies have to do is plug in their respective chronogens and...
Plug them in? Where is Hoagie going to find an electrical outlet 200 years in the past?
Yes, well, he'll be needing my patented super battery then, won't he? Now, where did I put those patented super battery plans of mine?
Plans? How are we gonna get Hoagie plans?
Don't worry me with details, boy. Just help me find the plans. They're in this house somewhere.
Now what am I going to do?
I think I made myself perfectly clear. Step 1, find plans. Step 2, save world. Step 3, get out of my house. Let's get cracking.
So yeah, kind of a chunky intro.
It can't do anything without a new diamond.
But again, the nice little feature is... I believe I'm over now, right? No? Okay. I am stuck in the present for a bit. Darn.
Maybe I put them upstairs. That's got to be it. Upstairs.
And yeah, if I was playing this in the original one, then... Well, sometimes there's more to the screen, sometimes there's not, but yeah. So I'm curious if I can quickly find...
Yoo-hoo! Dr. Fred?
a particularly interesting, let's say, NPC. Ah, yes. Okay.
He looks like a tall, mummified Dr. Fred. Hey, Ted. Talkative as ever, eh, Ted? Boy, I haven't seen you since I was here 5 years ago. You haven't changed a whole lot. You know, I bet you'd really like my friend Hoagie. He can pass out standing up and not drop anything. You haven't seen any plans for a super battery around, have you? Nah, didn't think so. Boy, I wish I had as little on my mind as you do. No offense intended, of course. Well, I'd best be on about saving the world.
So yeah, you find dead cousin Ted here in all 3 time periods, and at any point in the game, you can have pretty long one-sided conversations with him, which are kind of a little elegant way of like, here's a reminder of what's going on in the plot right now, and like some vague hints of like what to start looking for, which I certainly appreciate. Plus, he's just a good pal. Oh yeah, I forgot about the newspapers of the increasing rampage of Tentacle in doing various things. Oh, there's the old text. Okay.
I hate that clown.
Is there an option for that? Does oh. Da-da-da. There you go. So what's this? Okay.
Hey, boy, you missed the party.
That's what I'm used to.
You and the clown were having a party?
No, last night.
The text is so much worse with the new graphics. It's like that like smoothing filter people put on old like 8-bit games and stuff.
Has anyone ever told you you look like Don Corleone?
That's strange. My wife says I look like King Charles I. So, want a cigar?
Sure, lay one of those Havanan babies on me.
Thought I was gonna blow your head off there, didn't you? Well, you were right! You shouldn't smoke. It's a bad habit. That cracks me up every time.
Hi there.
What can I do for you, kid?
You haven't seen any plans for a super battery around, have you?
Battery? I wouldn't know about anything like that. I'm just a novelty goods distributor specializing in cigars. So, want another cigar?
Okay, but only if you promise not to light it this time.
Would I do a thing like that?
Yeah, so this kind of like cartoon violence is kind of as far as we go
I
in
told
terms
you
of
it was a bad habit.
negative consequences for your characters, which again was at the time like such a breath of fresh air compared to like anything from Sierra.
Sucker. Jumpy little sucker. Jumpy little sucker.
I seem to recall you can just like
Jumpy little sucker.
eventually get it that way, but yeah.
Neat. It's locked. Not much to see in there. A handle attached to a rotating shaft which transmits and modifies rotary motion and torque.
Something about the text boxes I feel just like adds to the humor too. It's hard to explain.
It's a primitive but useful venting device which prevents injury due to harmful smoke inhalation.
Was that the trick here?
Jumpy little sucker. Jumpy little sucker. Jumpy little sucker.
Aha.
Jumpy little sucker. Neat. Neat.
I do appreciate neat as a default thing. Also, I have to do a very important thing.
I'd rather not.
Oh, right, no. This one didn't have I can't use these things together, which just really gets in your head after a while with a lot of other games from them. Anyway, yeah, that's a little bit of a look at Day of the Tentacle. And yeah, like, I understand. You can do it here too. No, I understand wanting to like update the look, but like, it looks bad. But that's like some degree of a look at Day of the Tentacle. It's a real classic of a game. Full of your good old moon logic puzzles and a lot of attempts at jokes, most of which I think actually land. Definitely worth playing sometime if you never have.